had like 75. Because you we're live, Dennis.
What's up?
Hey, you say hi, Mom. I'm on TV.
Mom!
All right, so
This is TV.
Sam and DJ, Dennis Montgomery. He's, like I said, a little bit on the TikTok live we were just on. Dennis is probably like the 45th or 46th best wholesaler in St. Louis, so you are in good hands tonight. I'm just kidding. Dennis is absolutely crushing it. So we're just letting people log on. We're going to be talking wholesaling tonight and answer questions. We're going to do a Q&A where we answer questions, but we are going to be talking wholesaling. So that's kind of going to be the theme of tonight. But whatever questions you have about real estate investing, ask them, please. Let us know where you're from. Oh, Bainers, where are you from? Start off with where you're from. Awesome. What is
Hey out there.
Hi, what's going on? Number one in your hearts. There you go. So keep us coming. Where are you from? And we're going to get into wholesaling questions. Stack your questions up. We are going to get them. Jay Ruthless, I think you asked that question on TikTok. We're going to get to that. So keep the questions coming. We're going to give a market update, and then we're going to talk about Dennis a little bit and ask him some questions. Then we're going to answer every question you guys have. We'll get them on there. Philip Vincent, you know that dude? What's going on?
Puerto Rico.
All the way from Puerto Rico. Philip Vincent, he used to be, or he still is, but he's a big wholesaler in St. Louis. Then he's trying to take his spot, aren't you?
Oh, man, I couldn't catch up with that guy.
From the Lou, and I'm proud. I think it's the Nelly song. Lubbock, Texas. Awesome. Keep the questions coming. We're going to get to all the questions, but let us know where you're from as we're getting on here. Georgia, I watch all your lives. World Traveler. Well, thank you for watching them. I do recognize your name. Thank you. Tejas, Tim, what's going on, man? We are in St. Louis also. St. Louis, I love it. Here from Sioux Falls, back from TikTok early. Yep, I remember you from Sioux Falls. He's having trouble finding some local real estate investing Facebook groups. Sioux Falls is a big enough town. They got to have some.
There's got to be something, yeah.
All right, St. Peter's, nice. I'm in Wentzville right now. From Kentucky, we're talking wholesaling, so you were in the right spot. So let us know where you're from and what questions y'all have. I know Nick Yates, he's in our mastermind. He's definitely going to buy a lot of deals.
What's up, Nick?
Victor, awesome. So keep the questions coming and let us know where you're from. But let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit to Denny. So let us know where you're from. Put the questions in the chat box. Make sure you're liking and sharing this if you're on Facebook. Like and share it if you're on YouTube. Share it as well. But keep letting us know where you're from and put your questions in the chat box. So market update, Denny. Why don't you give everybody a little update on the market, how you see it for the retail and the investing side?
Yeah.
Why are you smiling at me? Don't be smiling at me.
Just so you guys know, if there's any questions that he asked me, he didn't tell me any questions beforehand.
Correct. So, no, they're not bad. You can see them all right there.
They're not hard. So market update. As far as the traditional side, everything is selling way higher than ever. And everything that is nice seems to be going over price on the first weekend. If somebody asked earlier if they're buying their first home, it's probably best to do it by putting some work into it. As far as wholesaling and investing, I mean, interest rates are awesome for refinancing out into your rentals, and they're just as easy to find as they always have been, and we've been able to find stuff in St. Louis.
Yep.
Cash flow. So
but
it's a great market.
It's been a great market. So if you're on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed, share this and like this and ask questions. If you're on Facebook, make sure to like this as well and share it. If we get up to 10 shares, I'm going to punch Dennis in the cheek. So let's try to see if we can get up to 10 shares. So as far as my opinion on the market is, yeah, things are crazy right now. We have a pretty unique resource at our office. Brian Schroeder, he's been around investing since 2002 in real estate, and he's been in real estate since 95. He said this is the craziest, the hottest it's ever been in the past almost 30 years. And he's been through 05, 06, that uprise. So it's crazy right now. Yeah, everything that is in a decent shape is selling like fast and overpriced, and it's freaking mid-November. This is like, April, May, and it's November. So it's crazy. And then the market's hot. Our flipping company's doing really, really well right now on the investing and retail side. So keep the questions coming. Let us know where we're from. We're going to get to every single one of your questions. We're kind of doing our little thing, and then we're going to get it. So keep the questions coming. So that's our market update. So Dennis, who is DJ? So Dennis, why don't you tell everybody in St. Louis knows you because you're famous. And then you had that one video that went viral. I'm just kidding. What?
I don't know which one.
But yeah, so tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm born in California, then ended up in Chicago.
You were born in California?
Yeah. Now I'm here in
St. Louis. How long did you live in California?
10 years.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, San
I
Pedro.
could see that, I guess.
So I have a family and I love real estate. So I started into wholesaling because I realized working with my hands is just way too much work for way too little money. And I love real estate because it gives me the opportunity to be free of debt and like
Gives you just freedom.
work. Yeah. So
Financial. You look at my hair.
you got something in there, man.
I do. What the hell?
I don't know what else you're supposed to tell me about me. I've been with FasterFreedom since 2017.
So you've been wholesaling for 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah, I
How
started.
many houses are you going to buy this year?
I'm aiming for 60, but right now I'm a little short.
So he's going to buy between probably 50 and 60 houses this year as a wholesaler. He has a rental portfolio of 21 doors.
Yep.
So he does wholesaling and he's done some rehabs, and then he's growing the rental portfolio. So basically, you're kind of drinking from the same Kool-Aid that we all are at FasterFreedom. He's growing active income with wholesaling and flipping.
I started out rehabbing houses, thinking that that's what I wanted to do, and I hated it. So
well, now we do it for you.
So now they do it for me, so I don't have to do it.
So he flips and wholesales for active income, then passive long-term wealth through rentals. That's kind of the name of the game. We're going to focus on wholesaling for today. We're going to talk about, we're about to get into wholesaling. We're each going to give our definition of wholesaling, see how much they differ. And then I'll let Dennis go first because I know he'll copy off what I say. And then we're going to get to your questions. So keep the questions coming. If you asked it earlier, I promise we're going to get to it. So keep the questions coming, put them in the chat box. So what is wholesaling, Dennis? How would you describe wholesaling? Because I bet a few people watching here and on TikTok up there don't know what wholesaling is.
Well, you buy a house or anything else at a deep discount and you sell it to somebody else at a discount. So I buy a house at $75,000 that's worth $100, and you sell it to somebody for $80.
Look at that. That's a simple way to do it. So that's great. So see what you think about my definition. I've said this a few times, and I think it's a good way to kind of look at it. So I look at wholesalers kind of like real estate agents for investors. Real estate agents that you guys think of, they connect buyers and sellers. Now, they usually don't like buy the house, but they connect a buyer and a seller, and they get paid a fee for doing that. That's what wholesalers do. Wholesalers usually find the property, not always, but usually, and we'll talk about how we find properties, but wholesalers find properties and get under contract, and then they find the buyer. So they're connecting a seller and a buyer and getting paid a fee for doing that. Is that kind of a simple way to look at it? Does that make sense?
That's a perfect way to look at it.
And you don't need a license to do it in most states. Most states, it's almost a hindrance to have a license, honestly.
Yeah. And there's some states that don't allow you have to close on the property. So
yep. So that's wholesaling. That's Millie. We'll keep looking over there. So that's my dog. So that's wholesaling. So we're gonna get some questions, and we're gonna come back but whatever questions you have, we're gonna get to them. Let us know where you're from. What's going on, BJ? We're gonna start from the top. If we miss your questions, or we're not gonna miss your questions, we will get to all of them. What is your best advice for? So what is your best advice for a newbie at age of 18 trying to get a wholesaling / real estate?
Well, I wish I would have did it at 18. I should have taken the advice.
At 18, you were
I was working on rental properties, and a guy told me to buy a 5-plex, and I didn't do it. I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been before the crash. Yep. But I would say surround yourself with people that know what they're doing. Get into the local RIAs is so important. Listen to Bigger Pocket Podcast, Epic Podcast, FasterFreedom Podcast, this guy's podcast. Surround yourself with as much knowledge, but also don't get over knowledge and then be afraid to act. So you have to try it. You have to get out there. You got to do something. So start marketing, start getting some stuff done. So I would say there's 2 things you do. I'm not gonna do. The first thing would be to follow our my TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. There's a lot of free information on here. I have paid for courses and I pay for courses, and there's a lot of free information here on the YouTube. So make sure you're subscribing and following. And the other thing would, like he said, join your local real estate investing meetups and Facebook groups. If you want to get involved at any age, especially early, you need to gain knowledge and you need to gain contacts and network with people. And you do both of those by following my stuff and other people's stuff that you know and trust, and then by getting involved in your local community, and that is through through your local real estate investing meetups and Facebook groups. So we'll just kind of tag team each question. I'm not going to get into that one. All right. What other questions do you guys have? Keep the questions coming. Right. And he's not, though. Hold on. Do one now, I guess. Should we leave that one alone? Probably. All
I'm from Kentucky, but want to get into wholesale. I'm 100% new. That's okay. Shannon, we talked about kind of some things to do, but I mean, wholesaling, in my opinion, I just did a YouTube video on it on Monday. It's not hard. It's simple, but it can be hard. You just require discipline and hard work. It's simple. The concept's super easy to do. You just have to have discipline and perseverance and be willing to get kicked in the nuts a little bit.
Yeah,
sorry.
So discipline is not the word I would use. I think you need discipline in anything you do. So
there you go.
I think that it's organization of, if you're going to market to people, whether you're driving for dollars, whether you're putting out bandit signs, whether you're sending letters, whether you're talking to agents, whether you're knocking on doors, you have to be able to keep your leads organized and follow up, because follow up is the biggest key. So if you don't follow up with people, you're going to miss out on that deal. If somebody says that they're going to probably sell their house in 6 months at a discount, and you call them in 7 months, the house is probably going to be sold. So organization, and then building up your CRM. So it's huge.
Organization and follow up is big. I don't think we'll get into that one. So keep the questions coming. We're about 10 minutes behind on questions, so we are going to get to all of them, I promise. So keep them coming. We're talking wholesaling, but you can ask us anything about real estate investing. We wholesale, we fix and flip, we have rental properties, we have single families, we have multifamilies, we have storage facilities. So we kind of cover a lot of the space, so we can chat about it.
I like this question.
Yeah, get that one. I'm going to work on the lights. Yace texted me, said we probably use some more lights. But
what's the best technique? Honestly, there isn't one. Right now, I think that there's a lot of people that are having a lot of success with cold calling and cold texting. There's a lot of services that you can do that, but you can do it on your own. Driving for dollars is a very, that's one that you're not going to have a lot of competition if you're in a market that is competitive, because you're finding the houses and it might not be on another list. So if I was going to start somewhere and I didn't have a whole lot of money, driving for dollars would probably be where I'd go. And then there's an app called Deal Machine. You can check that out. And with that, you can find the contact information, the owner, everything about it. So you can call them. So I don't know what I'm doing on this YouTube thing. And so I'm going to go ahead and go on to this next question. So. All right. It says, hey, Nick. I'm trying to get my first wholesale deal before December 21st. What should I focus my time on?
That's Lucas's birthday.
Come hang out with us, man. But I would honestly say drive for dollars, Nick. Get out there, drive the neighborhoods, and then plug it into the Deal Machine app or some type of skip tracing app. Call the people, text people, send them letters.
Awesome. What about this one? You get this one. I fixed that.
Just did one, man. No. What if the seller wants a lawyer present before signing a purchase? I've had people say a couple times they wanted a lawyer present. By all means, have them. Let them check it out by a lawyer. Don't do anything illegal. We 100% welcome anybody that wants a lawyer to look at our contracts, to look them over. And if you don't do anything wrong, then they're just spending their money on a lawyer for no reason. So.
Yeah, that's great. And I would say we part of the reason we do pretty well is because we preach transparency and being honest. If there's contingency, don't hide it. Be upfront, honest, forward, and transparent in everything you do, especially in wholesaling, because there is somewhat of a bad connotation to it. If they want a lawyer, who cares? I love it when lawyers get involved because our contracts are tried and true. There's no hidden language. We're straightforward. We can have the ability to close. So I love it when lawyers look at contracts. Actually, like probate deals, when lawyers look at them, I've won several that we're not even the most because of our contracts and our transparency. How can you grow your portfolio as a 19-year-old with very little to no credit? Want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So Dennis he's just throwing a fit because I made him do 2 in a row. So if you're 19 years old, you can definitely, I would talk to as many credit unions and local banks as you can and see their parameters and get, usually they want to do business with you. These aren't your Bank of America's, your Commerce Banks. These are your small, like First State Bank of St. Charles. Like they only own locally, but they're who we use, like a bank that sounds like that in your area. They're going to tell you what criteria you need to meet and work your ass off to try and meet that criteria. It may take you a couple years, but in the meantime, you can wholesale, you can fix and flip using private lenders or hard money lenders. Those are your other options. Then your third option would be to partner with your parents. They have, hopefully credit, or an older sibling, or just somebody who's a little bit older with credit. Partner with them and do a few deals, a few rentals while you're building your credit. And eventually, you'll have your credit built up and your income, and you'll be able to do them on your own. Maybe you'll stay partners with them, or maybe you'll have 5 rentals with one person and the rest on your own. I don't think there's a bad solution there. And there's always an answer. There's always a solution.
There's always a way. So if you can use your first-time home buyers to buy, I believe, up to a 4-family. I could be wrong.
You're right. You're right.
But if you have the opportunity to see what you can get qualified for, you can buy a multifamily property that you can rent out, and that is already fast tracking your rental portfolio.
There you go.
And you have it on a 30-year mortgage that's not going to be adjusted. So it's actually, if I was 19 years old, 18 years old, and I was buying a property, it would definitely be a duplex or a 4-plex that I'd move into one side of.
That is awesome. So Zach, we got 2 people from Sioux Falls. World Traveler, I was talking about Zach up here earlier. He said he's having trouble finding a meetup in Sioux Falls. So World Traveler, that'd be awesome if you talked to that investor and found out where the local real estate investing meetup groups is, and on the next live next week, connected, or just contact him here. I don't know exactly.
And this is exactly why networking is so important in real estate, because there's somebody that knows somebody of who you need to know. So just keep plugging yourself in, talking to people, asking questions, and you guys will figure out.
World Traveler's kicking some butt. She's been driving for dollars a day and found some Bana properties. I love it. I'll let Millie in. I went first. You go.
All right.
Read it out loud.
It says, I've only seen hard money lenders.
I'm not going to read her, but come on.
Oh, that's not why. So I've only seen hard money lenders do 80, 90% loan to cost value. How do you avoid putting down a down payment? Do you have any lenders that cover 100% of the loan to the cost? So I would say that you always have to buy a property that's at a discount in the first place. So you're not buying a new construction house or a house that's completely ready to go unless they have an issue and they need to sell it quickly. So those lenders will often give you up to 75% or 80% of the value of the property. So as far as you said, cost/value is 2 different things. So you want to buy a property that's undervalued or under what it could sell for, and then somebody will give you the money because now they have skin in the game. If they have to take it back from you, they can resell it.
And keep the questions coming. We're about 12 minutes behind on questions. So if you asked a question earlier, we're going to get to it, I promise. Dennis isn't leaving until we answer all the questions. So K Liner, probably not, I'm saying it right, but maybe I am. I am purchasing a rental around 50%, purchasing a rental around 50% of LTV, repairs included. That's awesome. Had a bankruptcy a couple years ago. Do I talk to a refi out of hard money loan? Do they do asset-based mortgages? You got it.
I don't know on how big the property is, so I don't know the answer to this as far as with banks. It's each bank. So
yeah, each bank's different. So I would talk to multiple banks, and Luke and I went to about 20 banks. We were going to the wrong banks. First off, we went to 20 banks before we once said yes. So I'd go to all the local banks, talk to investors in your area, go to the local credit unions as well, and see what is needed, and just build that credit back up. If you got that rental at that good of a deal, and for some reason a bank won't do long-term finance with you, you should be able to wholesale it and make some good money, or fix and flip it. So if your long-term goal is rentals, I love that. But you can do a lot of things while you're building your credit and getting out of that bankruptcy, because you can get financed after you have bankruptcy. There just are certain timings that you.
But I would say yes, there probably are some small banks that would look at that and say, hey, if we had to take this back and that it's already producing money, that you can find somebody to lend to you.
You know that guy? I don't know
What's
that guy.
up?
Yahtzee. All right. What decision made you start wholesaling?
Well,
you said it a little bit earlier, but sorry.
I did. I got tired of, I got tired of working with my hands, so I decided I'd flip houses and do property management. Property management is the worst job in real estate. If you're a property manager on here, you're a saint. And I met a guy that made more money than me in one deal when I did all the work, and I found out he was a wholesaler. So I asked him what he did, and I never turned back. So
the wholesaling is just a great way to be involved in real estate and to have active income while you're going to run a portfolio, or just have active income. I know Dennis wholesales for active income and flips, and then has rentals on the side as well. But wholesaling properly, and Dennis is going to talk about this. He's talking at our Buyers Club event next week. And he's going to talk about this. If you learn how to wholesale, it's basically finding houses at discounts and then selling that house. But if you find a house at discount, you can sell it and make money. You can fix it and flip, or you can keep it as a rental. So if you're a good wholesaler and you know how to get in contact with properties and buy them at discounts, it opens up Pandora's box per se for just doing whatever the hell you want to do in real estate, because you have the connections and you're buying houses.
And you can truly do it for free. So
yeah, you can truly do it for free. That's a great point. Stag, look, you like hunting?
I do.
What's up, guys? Great to hear you all live. Awesome.
Like
Thank you. We appreciate
hat.
that. We appreciate that. That does a little bit. Oh shoot, I went all the way down the bottom. We'll get back up there. We're gonna get. What's up, Shazad? Shazad, the cat's out of the bag. Shazad's working. He's gonna start Monday. He's starting Monday working for us. He's gonna do a lot in this business. All right, here we go. We're back caught up. Best simplified way to look at wholesaling. Great answer. Oh, okay. You were giving us props on our answer. Probably mine and not Dennis's. How do you handle having to walk away from contracts because it doesn't sell?
Well, you gotta be as honest as possible.
There you go. Very first conversation.
That's the biggest thing. Because I've bought several houses from people that have called and said that the wholesaler screwed them over. If they would have been honest up front, that would have worked. So put yourself contingencies in there. Tell them, hey, give me what we call option contract if you need to. Say, hey, I can bring somebody in here that'll buy this, but I just need to get some people through here. Give me 10 days to shop it if you need to. Or just tell them you're having an inspection period. And if it doesn't work out, make sure you follow up with that inspection period and keep them notified or up to date throughout the whole process. So when you do have to back out, they already kind of know.
And if you can't close on a property, they need to know that there's a possibility that you either can't close or you're going to have some type of contingency that's going to let you out. Never let that contingency be a surprise. Never hide it. You might not buy quite as many deals. You might buy a couple less a year or something like that. But in the long run, I promise you it is going to benefit you for being upfront and honest at the beginning and being transparent as possible with the seller, so they know what's happening. And luckily, that's a good advice. But well, I'm telling our advice that it's good advice. But we have the ability to close on everything, so that helps. So we don't. If we have a contingency, it's not because of the money part. So we're fortunate, but that's okay. Not everybody's in that situation.
That's not where at the beginning where you're going to be at. So just put yourself in a position where you can get out of the contract and keep the seller informed throughout the whole process, 100% of the time.
I'm just stuck on how to find how much a property is actually worth. I'm from Illinois, but my target market is actually Indianapolis. Okay. That's all right. So a couple ways you can find out what a property is worth. If you're not a real estate agent, we can talk. I'll let you talk about how to deal with agents because you're the agent expert. Yeah. But if you're not an agent and you don't know an agent yet, then it's going to tell you how to find one and what to do. But you can look on Zillow, you can look on Trulia, you can look on some of those websites, and they will give you a decent. They'll give you a decent lever or give you a decent what the word am I looking for? Gauge at what the property's worth. They're not exactly, they're accurate because you just got to find 3 houses that have sold in the past 6 months within a half a mile, quarter mile, preferably in the same school district for sure. It doesn't have to be the same neighborhood, and the same neighborhood's preferred, but definitely needs to be the same school district. And you can find those on Zillow. Zillow blankets over the tax records. It doesn't capture everything that closes, but it captures half, maybe more. So if you go on Zillow and the little yellow button is the one sold, recently sold, if you find 3 houses that have sold that are very, very similar to that house, then that'll tell you what it's worth. But that's not as accurate as what Dennis is about to tell you. And you can do that, but do what Dennis is about to tell you.
Well, I don't know what he wants me to tell you, but what I would tell you to do is find an agent in that market that you can trust, that knows how to run true comps, not it's the market's hot right now, so 3 months from now, it's going to be selling $30,000 more. Find an agent there and don't try to take advantage of them. Offer them. If you can't get access to the MLS there, if you can't become an assistant to them, give them, ask them how much they would charge you to run numbers. Run your numbers first and then have them check them with the MLS. So, but you should be able to get a pretty safe gauge on using 3 different sources with 3 different recently sold houses.
Awesome. So, there you go. So keep the questions coming. How far are we? We're 15 minutes behind. We will get to them, I promise. I have very little money. What is the best way to wholesale? Because I'm trying to escape the rat race. Well, the best way to wholesale is to make follow our stuff here, follow other people like Bigger Pockets, FasterFreedom, all those other, you throw the names together and eventually people, think FasterFreedom and Bigger Pockets are the same thing.
Oh,
yeah,
but no.
They're not. So follow our stuff in other places.
Bigger Pockets used to be really small.
I know. We'll be there. But anyways, you can go too. But just follow people online and learn. You got to get the knowledge and make connections if you want to wholesale. And you don't need money to do either. Right. All the stuff is free, and then you can wholesale for free by making connections and meeting real estate agents. So half the houses we buy are from connectors or wholesalers or real estate agents, mold remediators, elder law attorneys, that kind of stuff.
So the first several deals I did, I found investors that were out of state, people that bought properties. You can find that out by having somebody run a search on your local real estate website. But I found somebody that's out of state that was investing, called, found some people that were looking to buy. I found the local investors that were selling, including Fashion House before I worked for them. And I went to these meetups. I went to like 5 a week some weeks. And I would find houses that those guys were selling. I would call the investor out in Utah or Colorado or Dallas, and I'd say, hey, I got this house. I went and took pictures for you. And then I would mark it up $3,000. They would write the contract, and I would just get a JV. So that was truly just my time. It wasn't taking any money whatsoever other than the gas money and I guess the couple letters that I sent out. So
there you go. That's a great answer. I see why I wanted to answer it. I'm going to talk to Tiki. You answer this one too. How do you make a contract? So there's definitely different ones to find, but then he goes.
How do you make a contract? I would not write my own contract. I would find one on the internet. We use the realtor ones, but we're all licensed real estate agents. So I would find one on any of the many websites. When you look up wholesaling contracts, you'll find them. Read through them, make sure they allow you to have a way out, and make sure that there's it's safe for both you and the seller. So I still don't know what I'm doing on this thing. So if you have a question, ask away. Oh, so Jonathan's here. If you have any other questions that I can answer, he's going to jump on and help answer. So World Traveler says she took some advice and just driving for dollars and found an abundance of properties within 5 minutes of my house. So that's awesome. Yeah, again, drive for dollars. If you find a house that have overflowing mailboxes, curtains in the windows, overgrown grass, roofs that are broke, you can tell are falling apart, houses that have just been abandoned, send them a letter, knock on the door, do something, because it's very likely that they need to sell that house or somebody needs to get rid of that house. So. You get to answer, Craig.
All right. Did you already answer that one?
Yep.
Okay. As a small interior remodeler for an HVAC company, how can I start out without?
I'm sorry, I didn't actually answer.
All right, we'll get to World Traveler's question. As a small interior remodeler for an HVAC company, how do I get started without having capital or a strong buying power? So you use other people's money. So private lenders or hard money lenders to fund the deal, either fix and flip it or use a BRRRR method or BRRRR strategy to refinance on the back end and pay them back. But there's a lot of strategies you can do, Craig. I remember I've seen your name before. There's a lot you can do. We had someone sign up for our live rental academy. He's an HVAC tech. He just moved up from Cuba 4 years ago with $100, and he's an HVAC tech out in Phoenix, and he's figuring it out. So I promise you can figure it out. You just got to have the perseverance.
Yeah. There's somebody that you know that will, there's most likely somebody you know that wants to help lend money. So
you just got to find them.
You just got to ask.
And they'll find you. So you just bumped up because we took, they'll find you as well. If once you start to do deals. All right. I took your advice and did some drive for dollars. I found 2 abandoned properties within 5 miles of my house. Should I hold? Well, it just depends. If you need the cash now, wholesale, and you got a good enough deal. If you have the resources, the money and connections to rehab it, you can do that too. Going into winter it's not the end of the world, but it is hot right now. So I think it's just kind of up to you.
Yeah. Again, it's just where you got them from. So once you have them under contract, if you can't close on them, wholesaling is obviously probably the best route. If you have the means to find financing to rehab it and it will profit for you and you have the means to rehab it, I mean, that's a great option as well. So
Jonathan Newsom on here. Are you the John from John Does RIA on TikTok? That'd be crazy. I got a guy up there answering questions too. That's awesome. Keep the questions coming. Mr. Ramirez, what is the best way to approach a seller? You just open the door and say, I'm here to buy your house, right?
Yeah. Well, I will be completely honest. I hate cold calling and cold knocking, but the biggest thing is just introducing yourself and saying, I'm buying houses in your neighborhood and I'd like to make an offer on your house. So,
besides that, that's great. And people hate wholesaling and no one likes it and everybody sucks at it. So you're going to make mistakes, just move on. But how do you approach a seller if you've already have an appointment set up? Let's talk about that. How do you walk in? How do you present yourself? Do you ask a ton of questions? Do you talk a ton? How do you do it?
So I really mirror the situation. So the first thing I do.
No, just don't say that.
I said something that was prejudiced, I guess.
It wasn't that bad. It was innocent, but keep going. We're not going there right now.
The last time I was on this thing. So I always tell them what type of vehicle I drive and what time I'm going to be there. That about be 5 minutes before the appointment. So when I show up, I'm already in my black truck that I told them I was going to be in. I walk up and I give them my business card and I ask them their name because there's been several times where I'm not actually dealing with the right person. So I always ask them, are you Mary or are you George, whatever it is. So, but that's how I introduce myself when I go in. And then I kind of take their lead. Do they want me to walk through the house without them? They'll kind of lead you in that. Just let them be the leader and don't take control until it's time to sit down at the table.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say I always talk as little as possible, and I never say anything bad about the house. Yeah. They know the house is in bad shape. You don't have to tell them, oh, look at that crack in the foundation. I'm going to have to offer you way less now. And oh, look at these doors are off center. I can't they know you don't have to downplay the house. That does nothing good.
Your job there is to build rapport and find out information about the house that you need, but you don't need to point out the house that there's a dog pooping on the floor. Like we all know that. They know that. So
just step over the poop.
Yeah, just ignore it, act like it's not. And if they say anything about the house, say, I don't even see it. I'm just looking at the bones of the house.
And so. I always would say, you should see some of the stuff I see. This is just fine. I see a lot worse. Best assets right now. I mean, in my opinion, real estate investing is always a good asset, especially if you're investing properly. I know the market goes up and down, but if you're buying at a discount, it's opposite. So the market goes up and down. Let's do a little visuals, Dennis. Look at that's actually smooth. But if the market's up, you're buying at a discount from that. If the market's down, you're buying at a discount from that. So no matter where the market is, you just need to be aware of that and buy at a discount. And real estate investing is mainly what I know and do. Same with you, I believe. So that's what I would suggest doing. Cool. As
I hear 3 months out. 3 months out.
I hear techniques to put closing 3 months to give you time to sell. Is that a good idea? I was just repeating the whole thing.
Oh yeah, because TikTok guys, I'm sorry, I'm not forgetting about you guys. 3 months out probably wouldn't be very aggressive here. I've never heard anybody doing that far out. You shouldn't need that much time. If it's a deal, it's going to sell. If it takes 3 months to get at it, get it sold, then there's probably something wrong with the original contract, in my opinion. So I think that people like the whole fast close. Everybody has a problem. That's why they're selling these houses and they want to get it over with typically. Some people want to push that way out, but for the most part, solve the people's problems. And that often includes closing as fast as you can.
And a couple, 2-3 week contingency is pretty normal, but 3 months is a little bit. Look at this.
2-3 weeks.
So we had a couple people from Sioux Falls on there. Zach was the one who was having issues with finding local real estate investing meetups. And remember, World Traveler said she had a big investor in Sioux Falls, so they're getting connected. How is that? Look at what we're doing. Hopefully that could be.
Thank you, World Traveler. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you. Cool. Oh, realize cool as all right. Sorry, I skipped down the bottom. Hey guys. Look at that picture.
That's a picture on my phone.
Brian's always watching. Hi, Brian. Faster pockets. I like that. There you go. That kind of feels like the money's going in and out quickly. That's what that sounds like to me.
I like faster pockets.
There you go. I think I'd probably get in trouble for that. So we're going to answer the questions. How do you handle probate houses? So we just have good. Oh, I get it. I do get his name now. Cool as. All right. Anyways. So how do you handle probate houses?
I love probate.
My favorite. They're our best. They're our most high. They're our highest quality lead source.
They are. So probate houses. One, you need to understand. I'm not going to explain the process of probate, but understand the probate and know some lawyers that you can put people to if they're not already in the probate process. If you can get some trust through a lawyer that already knows who you are and they're able to be a vouch for you and they're able to solve their probate problems, the client, the seller, then it's going to be one of your best sources if you're able to get those.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love those because we are able to provide quality contracts with no contingencies and, that are pretty much bulletproof. So that kind of separates good contracts or bad contracts because lawyers are usually involved if it's in probate.
Yeah, and I would say that they're a little harder to wholesale blindly without the seller knowing because there's going to be a lawyer at the end of it. So
what's going on? Corey, I know these are from like 15 minutes ago. Gabe, I guess there's a Gabe on here also. There you go, Tyrus. We're going to the top. I love it. That's a good place to go. When analyzing deals, do you do your numbers with the asking price or do you do the numbers with the projected offer price? When analyzing deals. How we analyze deals is we'll take what it's worth fixed up, ARV times 0.75 minus repairs. So whatever that number is, we offer on, we know what we think it, if you know what it's probably worth fixed up and you know what it takes to fix it up, if you know, so you see it's the opposite. I go this way, it goes that way, I go this way, go that way. If you know what it's worth fixed up and you know, stop, don't shake your head at me. If you know what it's worth fixed up and you know what it costs to get it to that, you know what it costs to repair and get it to that condition, then you should be safe in most investing deals and analyzation deals.
I don't ever look at, I shouldn't say never, but I'm not usually concerned with what the person's asking for the house. Obviously, we ask so that we don't make an offer that's ridiculous
or over what they're
asking. And that's what I meant by ridiculous. But you always look at what you think the house is worth conservatively, not the top of the market, conservatively, and you go from there.
Awesome. Rob, what do you think about high property tax states like New Jersey? And is there a way to request lower taxes if my neighborhood has lower taxes? Yes, there is. You can, in Missouri, and I'm pretty sure it's the same in all states, you can fight increased property taxes. You don't always win, but you can fight it. If you have data, you can either have a company do it for you or you can do it. And then in high property taxes like New Jersey, I mean, every town in the U.S. and then New Jersey is no different. Probably a third to half the people rent. So some investor is making some money somehow. Maybe it's not the Burr method. Maybe they're buying, fixing, flipping, and putting 20% down. But taxes and rents and taxes that have higher states, the rents are higher for that exact purpose. So the rent goes up because the taxes go up. So that's a couple things. The other option is to invest out of state, have virtually, have a rental portfolio. A lot of people do. And the other thing would be just to fix and flip and wholesale and then put money down so that your mortgage is less and you can have less taxes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to invest out of state if you couldn't figure something out in state. So I don't ever see the properties that I own unless I absolutely have to.
John does, yeah. So he's answered all questions on there and on here. John does Ria. So he's keeping the TikTok people's questions answered. Thank you, John Newsom. Now I know your last name. So I will go along with World Traveler's kind of question. If I find a house in my small town that are abandoned, I try to fix it to flip it, I can't wholesale them. You can either you can do whatever you want. You can sell it at any point before rehab, mid rehab, end of rehab. So you can technically sell it at any point. And I think that's kind of what you're asking, but you can always wholesale.
Yeah, and I would say I think it says, should I fix and flip it if I can't wholesale them? So if you can't sell them because it won't sell, if nobody else will buy them, the margins are probably a little too tight for it to be a good deal. That's actually where we've gotten in our biggest trouble, is that if we weren't able to wholesale something, we're like, well, we'll just rehab it. And then at the end of it, instead of taking letting the deal go at the beginning, we end up taking a loss at the end. So
there you go. Good question. What rates points would you determine is fair for a private lender? I would say usually a private lender is going to be that 8 to 12% annualized. Most of the time, you're just going to pay on the refi or the sale. You don't have to do monthly payments like a lot of hard money lenders will have. I don't know why I just winked, but I did. So that 8 to 12 is kind of usually what you'll get, and the more you do, the lower the rate you can get. Agreed?
Yeah, I'm at 10 to 12 between the three different ones I've used.
Nice. Is Redfin as good as Zillow and PropStream? In my guesstimation, it goes right to left. PropStream, Zillow, Redfin. Zillow is just the biggest. That's the most downloaded app in the world. They just have the most data. of those type of websites, but PropStream goes off tax records, and you can do a lot more in PropStream. So I would suggest.
But using
PropStream.
all three of them every time you run a comp, if you don't have MLS, then that is your best bet.
Awesome. Thank you. You're welcome, Mr. Ramirez. Oh, gosh. Why is this stupid freaking...
That's why I was afraid to touch this thing.
That's what you... Okay. All right. All right. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you. Hey, guys. Matt from KCMO here. We're in St. Louis, so it's a very similar market. Which is better to stay in, small commercial properties or residential properties? What say you, DJ?
It's two different
beasts.
That's the word right there. So commercial property sometimes has a different return, a lower return sometimes, but you have an asset that often you can get somebody renting for a long time and it'll pay you for a long time.
There you go.
But residential properties are easy to sell if you have to sell them right away. Like if something happened, you had to sell them off. There's always going to be more tenants. If somebody moves out and your property's nice, somebody's going to want to move in. Commercial properties, you run that risk of the big store and the commercial moving out and the other little stores not wanting to stick around. So it's two different things, two different styles of investing. So
I love it. That's a great answer. There are two different styles, but in my opinion, if you're asking is residential is where you want to be, because someone always has to live. People aren't, there's going to be a lot of commercial and office space, or especially office space that's going to really, really get hit hard, because a lot of companies aren't going back to work for a while or ever. They're going to be working virtually. So someone always has to live. If anything, houses, people are going to be building offices in their houses, and houses will become even more of a thing. So, yeah, in my opinion, residential is better. Tara handles it. There you go. Tara does handle it, like a handle of.
She handles all of our problems with stuff.
She does. What is the best advice to finding cash buyers? So I will answer this and he'll give this. I do have a YouTube video that I just shot yesterday on the top 6 ways to get cash buyers. So we'll talk about them here and get opinions. But all these kind of questions are answered on this YouTube, guys. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Follow the stuff, comment on them, like them so the algorithm likes me. So I love going live and answering you direct questions, but all these questions are answered on our YouTube channel already. There's over 100 videos. I don't know if you knew that's a lot of videos.
That's a lot. That's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch the one from yesterday, but easy way, free way. If you have Facebook and you get all the local RIAs, you start posting houses that you have, even if it's not a real house.
Or snipe other people, or not snipe, but you know what I mean? Like people post a house and the people will respond with their email addresses.
Yeah,
write them down.
Exactly. Write down those and reach out to them. Don't just write down their email addresses. Reach out to them. Find out what they're looking for.
Someone says, I think you skipped a few questions starting at 8:49. I'll go check real quick. If I skipped your questions, ask it again. We're trying not to skip them. But it's tough because it skips to the bottom sometimes. So keep the questions coming. Keep them coming. If we miss them, ask them again. I apologize. Or
it's hard to see that.
It's hard for sure. Keep the questions coming. All right, we're caught back up. Financing, what's up, Hunter? Financing student at Auburn. That's awesome. We no longer have real estate clubs. So what is the best way to meet and get connected? I would real estate club for your school. I would go to Facebook and try to see if you find local real estate investing groups, and then go to meetup.com. And there's groups there. If they're not meeting in person right now, they're meeting virtually still. So you can probably every single night of the week, either in your town or the surrounding towns, attend some type of meetup virtually.
And also Bigger Pockets has a meetup thing on it. So if you want to check out that, obviously follow us first. But
we're on there too. Our meetups on Bigger Pockets.
So if you go to the Bigger Pockets, if there's not one, you can put together one. And anybody that's in your area that's interested in follow Bigger Pockets will see that.
Awesome. Good answer, DJ. We're going to be bigger than Bigger Pockets one day. What do you think about that?
I remember listening to them like 2015. And
yep.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. When cold calling for houses you found, do you get straight to the point and ask if they're interested in selling, or how do you go about cold calling? So we both hate cold calling. I don't like it. I hate bugging people that don't want to be bugged. But yeah, I do know cold callers, and I have seen scripts. The script kind of goes, hi, my name is Nick. I recently bought a house in your area. I'm calling all the houses in the area to see if you have any interest in selling. If you have any interest in possibly selling your house, let me know. If not, I'm sorry to waste your time, kind of thing. Just general conversation, right? I mean, that's kind of what you heard.
Basically, straight to the point. You asked if we go straight to the point.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not calling, and just straight to the point. So sorry, I repeated that 3 times.
All right. Have you tried to buy an empty property directly from a mortgage holder? Suggestions for attempting to do so at discount. So
if there's a high, this is a Brian Schroeder.
Brian, hop on here. No, Justin. So I think you're asking, buy a house directly from a mortgage holder, which is, are you talking about like the actual bank? So like bank-owned properties? Yeah, we bought bank-owned properties, and you can do those. A lot of those are pre-foreclosures. That's one way the banks they have the mortgage lien on the property, and they're exercising that lien by taking over the property because they haven't been paid. So all the paperwork you sign when you sign your mortgage. So yeah, we used to buy a lot more pre-foreclosures, but we still do.
Typically, they're from the larger banks on all the websites that we buy from. But the office that we're in, I believe, was bought directly from the bank because the bank called because they knew that Brian Schroeder was a cash investor and liked the area, and they called him, and he was able to negotiate the deal directly with the bank. So yes, it has happened.
Yes. And then John, you're saying, all states are different on that part. So no problem, Stag. Nick, how do you find most of your deals now? Do you buy lists? We do. We buy the standard list, and then we do a little bit of kind of unique lists. Most people are going to do a high equity absentee list. They're high quality, but a lot of people use them. And then you can look at divorce lists, and you just use PropStream or ListSource to find this. So we do buy lists for sure. How do I start without any proper contract experience? What do you say, Denny?
Contract experience.
So you can answer both ways on contractors or actual the written contracts, I guess.
Okay. So contractors, I would definitely talk to people that are already doing it and working with contractors and learn from the contractors in the process. Ask a bunch of questions that you're asking. As far as writing a contract, I would practice before it's time to write a contract. Find the contract that you like that allows you to have your contingencies that you need if you need them. It gives you security that they can't go and sell the house somewhere else, that you can put a lien against the property if they, it's what they call it, a lien, if they try to sell it out from underneath you. And then fill it out. So when you get to the table, you're not, Dennis kind of looks like Ryan. I've gotten that. Thanks, Chris. And he's doing good right now. He's walking and everything. So.
Yeah, you're just as strong as he is.
Yeah, that dude's motivated.
Yeah, anyone conducting more than one transaction yearly is coordinated. Structured transaction without a license, that individual can be fined $25,000. I don't know the laws in Illinois. We stay away from there if at all possible.
Yeah,
for sure.
we do not buy in Illinois. Illinois did just change their laws this past year, I believe, and we don't study them. I'm not a big fan of the state.
What lead sources do you recommend for wholesaling? There's a ton of them. I think John just answered a ton of us for us, but I mean, a lot of those stuff, drive for dollars, door knocking, calling bandit signs. Those are great ways to do it. And just letting people know you buy houses. Your friend's mom's neighbor or something may need to sell their house at some point.
And if you jump back to that question about the list, any real estate agent that you know can create a list for you of absentee owners just from the realist. And PropStream, you can create lists. You can create lists by driving for dollars. So we do purchase lists, but creating them is often better.
Bandit signs, I think they work. There's a reason people do them.
There's a reason why they're called bandit too.
Yep. What mistakes do you guys suggest? I avoid all of them.
Yeah, avoid every mistake you can.
So in order to help make the mistakes, follow our TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, especially this YouTube here. There's a ton of good information on here. Follow other people. So gain the knowledge by following people who've been there before, and then make as many connections as you can in your market through your meetups and Facebook groups.
Yeah, absolutely. Ask questions every step of the way, especially as you're doing your first couple of deals. Ask questions. Go back and make sure you're filling out the contract right and legally. Make sure you have the numbers right on the property. So
for sure. What is the best way to contact a seller if cold calling is not good? Text, email, letters.
If you send them a card, if you send them a card that doesn't look like a bill, they're going to open it. So a greeting card.
There you go. Thanks for the help, you guys. I've gotten a lot further than I ever thought. Awesome. Thank you. Stag out. There you go. What scams should I be looking out for in wholesaling, especially when connecting with people online that I've never met? Just don't give your money to anybody. That someone can scam your time, I guess. But if you're not giving them your credit card, or if something seems fishy, then just trust your instinct.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. Also, do you sell contract templates that I can use? I'm scared we're going to try wholesale something before. You can do this, rural traveler. We don't have any. We're coming out with a wholesale course with wholesale contracts and such next year. But as far as with helping out this year, just talk to your local real estate investors, and they should hopefully be able to help you.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them if you look them up. And I believe, and I don't want to keep pushing people back to bigger pockets, but
It's okay.
I
Mindset
know.
of abundance.
It's definitely an abundance, but they have some contracts on there the last time I checked. So I would definitely look at those, read over those, and they actually have forums of people telling you what to avoid as far as contracts that don't work for different reasons.
I live in great answer. Hunter says, I live in California. I have about $100,000 liquid to invest in a property, whether that's a down payment or renovations. Obviously, California is too expensive and high taxes. What do you recommend?
Buy in St. Louis. Give me a call tomorrow.
There you go. Buy St. Louis. Give Dennis a call tomorrow. Get 100 and just pay him $50,000 for his fee, and he'll buy a house with the other 50.
Yeah.
So out there, people still wholesale. People still fix and flip in California. You can do rentals, but the taxes and laws, I get it, kind of suck. Invest in Nevada, Arizona, local states that are maybe a little bit close, similar area to yours with boots on the ground, but the laws are better for it.
And with the $100,000, you can invest in a lot of parts of the country and get a lot of cash flow, and you could buy a lot of houses with $100,000. So, I mean, there's a lot of investors that invest in St. Louis area. I know the Dallas market, St. Louis, a lot of the Cleveland and Cincinnati markets, stuff like that are a lot similar to Kansas City or similar to St. Louis. So reach out to those places, and you can buy a rental portfolio, find a property manager to run it for you. So.
Yep. Abby, how do you find buyers without having connections and starting from nothing? Join those local Facebook groups, those local real estate investing meetups. There are buyers that go to those meetups, and there are buyers on Facebook. Yeah, there's a lot of tire kickers and people that are going to want to daisy chain or push your wholesale down the line and try to make money off of it. But there are legit buyers on all those groups for sure.
And any real estate agent can pull up a list of everybody that's paid cash.
There you go. I think that John maybe says that too. What percentage do you take equity out of a property? You just, however much you can, I guess, if you're doing a cash out refi, but just don't go over like 80, 75, 80%. So there's, some built-in equity in there. So you don't want to over leverage yourself.
Yep.
What is the estimated time it took you to understand everything? 6 months.
Learning.
We're still learning,
yeah. But yeah. But the process, once you do your first deal, you will truly be able to see how it really works from start to finish, and it'll make so much better, so much more sense.
Look at that. So Fresno, we'll see people talk about California. I'll mention Fresno. Thanks, Steve. All right. Hunter, awesome. Appreciate that. We give good information like this. We go live every Wednesday. I go live on Instagram and TikTok also. So if you want to know more about that, then make sure you subscribe to those channels as well. So I can go live and interact there. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, head over to YouTube and subscribe. Dennis did a great job. He didn't say anything too appropriate or offend anybody, I don't believe. So thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate you. We will see you next Wednesday at 8:30 Central.
See you guys.